Okay, we're going to take you through an example. And one example is, without typing too much in here, is let's say your company has lost a lot of days due to people claiming that they got suffering from bad backs or poor lifting and leading to accidents. In one particular case, it led to a claim of £25,000 for negligence on your part. So if you think about investment, let us say in this case it's going to be your personnel. They're going to be the people interested in this. So your personnel, sorry, I'm going to say human resources actually. Human resources department, and they're going to do handling and lifting, and let's say they're going to put, let's take a figure out of the air for now, £10,000. You'll notice some things have changed, and it's all invested into January. Now what you've decided to do is call this reference, and you're going to do an external course. You're going to ask an external provider to do this for you. You want to have some legitimacy, and the reference you're going to give it is basically handling and lifting 1. Okay, that is going to be reflected on your specifications of the task you're doing for task 1C. Now the detail you're going to add in there is obviously the cost, the external cost to provide. Maybe you're getting a specific customer to do that for you. That's fine. And maybe they're just going to say, okay, then for us to be able to deliver this, it's going to be £5,000. And what you might just find out is that's obviously going to lead to a certain amount of courses, a certain amount of delegates. But what's in that external cost? So I'd like to go back and reflect on that for a little bit. You'll need to break that down a little bit. So they're asking for developing the course because they want it to match what you do in your organisation. You might want to say that they're developing the course, they're going to release somebody to do this, play about with the material so it matches what your company specifically wants. There's plenty out there, so the developing the course might just be 2,500. Now, where's this course going to take place? Is it going to take place in your organisation? If you've got space, have you got a room? Have you got a training room? In which case that should be negligible. Let's say you have not. And let us say that the people delivering this course are just going to come in and just going to take over a room that you are going to organise for them. That might be offside. There are advantages of doing things offside. So let's say that's the example we're going to use. They're going to develop the course, it's going to cost them £2,500, and accommodation, you're going to book a room in a hotel, conference facility, something like that, for a day, middle of the week, I'm guessing, but I'm going to say £500. Sorry, I nearly put 5,000 in there. Might be more, might be less. If you're going for merits distinctions, I strongly suggest you tell me what research you've done to find that out. To me, that's how merit and distinction work. Develop the course, 2,500. Accommodation is £500. Let's look at this even further now. What other costs have we got developing the course? They might also want to bill you for the materials they've developed it. So you might want to say £100 in there. Accommodation could well be including lunch. What I'd also like you to consider is if they're going away, if your staff are going away from their normal working area, that could be just down the road, but there'll still be travel costs, travel and subsistence costs involved in there, or it could mean that they're staying away in hotels. And you've got to look at your company policy on what's the best way here. The best way is obviously to keep it as close at hand as possible. That will reduce your costs. And in the case of handling and lifting, that should be possible. But on something a little bit more technical that's needed, a little bit more specialised, you could end up with a lot more costs involved in that. So then, let us say travelling costs of your employees. Let's say it is down the road, but they're doing an extra 10 miles a day. Depends on where they live. You can't expect them to pay for that unless you've written it in the contract, or unless that's the way your organisation works. Therefore, you're going to allocate yourself maybe £400 for that. Okay. I also need to do something with my spreadsheet. The format for that hasn't come up as pounds, but that's something I can work on later before I give you this file. I think that covers it for now. you might want to look at how much it's going to cost you to evaluate. Now, we haven't looked at evaluation yet, that's in the last topic of this unit, but you might want to include some ways of evaluating that. How much money you're going to put to one side to enable you to see if this course has been worthwhile. Because if it has, and that £10,000 that seems a lot that you've spent up there has actually saved you being fined by the Health and Safety Executive for £25,000–30,000, may well have been money well spent. To see if that is money well spent, you've still got to spend money. Anything else? Costs? No, that'll do for now. Now what you'll see is the total costs there, but these of course aren't taking place in January. Developing the course, yes, maybe one-off payment, but accommodating, including lunch, it's not going to happen in January. It may well happen in February or even later on in the year. The material costs, you may have to pay them up front. Travel costs to your staff would not take place till February, till they've actually been on the course. And the evaluation and the cost you've done that may well take place a few months later. So do I really need that £10,000 up there? No, I do not. It's a simple answer. So therefore, to cover that cost in January, I just need to put in, well, just after it sounds, 2,700, just to accommodate some extra costs. But you'll notice now, on that same course, we still need to put costs in there in February. So let's going to put £1,000 in to cover that. And then we're looking at figures happening down here. We still have a £200 cost there, sorry, £500 in evaluation there. We only need to invest another £300. So if you like, that zeroed itself out. Okay, that's an example.